Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really fascinating mix of sources. We've got ancient philosophy, think Socrates, Gandhi, Confucius.
The classics.
Right. And we're blending that with some heavy hitters from modern analysis like Carl Jung, Robert Greene, Nassim Taleb.
Quite the lineup.
Our goal here is to sift through all this and maybe find a clearer path towards, self-mastery, not just vague self-help stuff, but something actionable.
Yeah.
And what really jumped out from all this reading wasn't some easy five-step plan. It was these powerful paradoxes that keep showing up.
Yeah, tensions you have to hold at the same time.
Exactly, like urgency versus patience,
Huh.
or focusing on your effort, which you can control, versus the outcome, which often you can't.
And that other big one. Do you spend your energy fighting the old you or building the new you?
Right. So let's unpack there.
And I think the core conflict tying all these thinkers together, ancient and modern, is really striking. We're living in this age of amazing technological leaps, right? Instant everything.
Yeah, information overload, constant connection.
But underneath it all, we're still run by this incredibly persistent, almost primitive human nature. And the argument is, if you don't really get a handle on that, on your inner workings,
You're just reacting, getting pulled around.
pretty much moved around like a pawn, as one source put it, you lose your agency. And the transformation they all point towards, it doesn't start with changing the world outside.
It starts inside.
It has to start inside, which is, frankly, the harder path most of the time.
Okay, let's dig into that looking inside idea, because
Yeah.
it sounds straightforward, but it's deep. The foundation seems to be this radical self-awareness, really noticing those, let's be honest, often uncomfortable feelings. That flare of jealousy, the quick anger, the confusion that makes you just shut down.
Which we usually push away.
Exactly. And the point isn't that having these feelings is bad, everyone does. It's about what happens next. What do you do once you see it?
Precisely. And this is where Carl Jung's insight is just so powerful. He said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes.
Okay, unpack that. Dreaming versus waking.
Well, if you're always looking outward, comparing yourself, blaming things, wishing for someone else's life, you're basically living in a kind of dream state, disconnected from your own reality.
Asleep at the wheel.
Sort of, yeah. Waking up means turning that focus inward, asking, okay, why did I react like that? What's really going on in me? That awareness, that's where control starts.
I like that idea of awakening, but it sounds like a very internal journey. Is there a risk of becoming too navel-gazing? Perfectly self-aware, but then you step outside and reality hits you like a truck.
That's the crucial balance, isn't it? You can't do this inner work completely detached from the world. And this is where someone like Robert Greene comes in with, a dose of harsh reality.
Ah, Greene. He doesn't pull punches about human nature.
Not at all. His argument is stark. Our collective human nature, those ingrained patterns of behavior, are fundamentally stronger than any single person, any government, any technology we invent.
In today's world, just puts that on steroids, doesn't it?
Yep.
Social media, for instance. It's not inventing new flaws in us.
No, it's just amplifying the old ones, like rocket fuel, as you said earlier.
Our old tribal impulses. They find the perfect home in online echo chambers. Makes it so easy to circle the wagons and demonize the other guys.
Absolutely. Or think about status seeking and envy. That's ancient wiring. But now you can compare yourself instantly, not just to your neighbor, but to thousands, millions of curated highlight reels online.
Ugh, yeah. That's exhausting.
It is. And Green's point, and Chekhov's too, actually, is that ignoring these laws of human nature just sets you up for confusion and feeling powerless. Chekhov said something like, man only gets better when you show him what he's really like.
Oof. Brutal honesty required.
It's the necessary first step. Radical self-realism before you can build anything else.
Okay, so once we have that clearer, maybe slightly uncomfortable view of ourselves and human nature, the path forward hits that first big paradox we mentioned. Gandhi's famous line, live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever.
Yeah, that one can really twist your brain a bit. How do you do both?
Right. They seem completely opposite. Die tomorrow means urgency, seize the day, live forever means patience, long-term planning.
Exactly. And the key is integration. You have to hold both, because focusing on just one leads you into a trap.
Okay, what a trap.
Well, trap one is only living like you'll die tomorrow. That can make you reckless, right? Burnout, short-term thinking, maybe acting selfishly because, hey, who cares about tomorrow?
Makes sense. Impulsive.
Yeah. Then trap two is the opposite. Only learning as if you'll live forever. This is the person who's always preparing, always studying, always getting ready. but never actually does anything.
The perpetual student who never graduates into action.
Precisely. They're always learning, but never living based on that learning. So the integration means
Yeah.
you bring that die tomorrow urgency to the present moment. What matters right now? Kindness, meaningful work, connection.
Focus on the now with intensity.
Yes. But you temper that with the live forever perspective, which means, okay, I messed up today. That's all right, I can learn from it. There's time to grow, to build, to practice. It stops the urgency from becoming frantic panic.
So it's action and perspective. Urgency for today's effort. Patience for the long journey.
You got it. That dual focus is what sustains you.
Okay, that leads really nicely into another crucial point from the readings. This question of motivation. Are you trying to be someone or do something?
Oh, that's a big one. The be versus do.
Explain the B trap. What does that look like?
The B trap is all about external validation. It's doing things primarily to look a certain way, cool, successful, smart, popular. It's focusing on the image, the status, what other people think.
Like chasing followers or titles instead of focusing on the actual work.
Exactly. Or doing something you don't even like, just because it confers status.
But hang on, isn't recognition, maybe being seen as an expert, isn't that often a natural result of doing good work? Why is wanting that necessarily a trap?
It becomes a trap when the wanting to be seen drives the action, instead of the action itself being the driver. Alan Watts had that sharp warning about it.
Ah, Watts, what did he say?
He basically warned against getting caught in a loop. Don't go on doing what you don't like doing in order to make money so you can keep doing what you don't like doing. That's the ultimate cost of prioritizing being over doing. Your whole life becomes about maintaining an image, maybe one you don't even like.
Wow, okay, so the alternative is the dough path.
Yes. And Nassim Taleb gives us a great frame for this. He said, heroes are heroes because they are heroic in behavior, not because they won or lost.
So the value is in the attempt, the action, the integrity of what you do, regardless of the applause.
Precisely. It's intrinsic motivation. Focus on the work, the contribution, the kindness, the practice itself. If recognition or success comes, great. It's a byproduct. It's not the primary goal that twists your actions.
Okay, so get your motivation straight. Focus on the doing. Then what? Where do you put your energy? This brings us to maybe the most fundamental piece of wisdom here, knowing what you can and cannot control.
The territory of control. Yeah, this is absolutely crucial.
And it seems like where most of us trip up constantly, right? We pour so much energy into worrying about things totally outside our influence.
Oh, absolutely. Ruminating, stressing.
So let's get specific. What can we actually control according to these sources?
Well, it boils down to your inputs, essentially. How hard you try, how kind you choose to be, whether you actually do the practice or not, what you decide to focus on next, how you treat people, your choices, your effort, your attitude.
Okay. And what's firmly in the cannot control bucket?
The outcomes, mostly, whether you ultimately win or lose, what other people think of you or your work, how external events unfold, luck. You just can't dictate those things.
That clarity is liberating, actually, but hard to practice. So what's the advice once you've given your effort? Say the presentation is done, the difficult conversation is over. What then?
The mindset seems to be like a top athlete's. Once the play is made or the shot is taken, you accept the result immediately. Good or bad, it's done. You don't waste energy replaying it endlessly in your head.
You move on to the next play.
Exactly. You accept and you redirect your focus to the next thing you can control, which is usually your next action, your next effort. It frees up enormous mental energy from regret or anxiety about the past outcome.
So act with full intensity, then accept with full peace.
That's the ideal. And it takes patience, which that African proverb captures beautifully. No matter how long the night, the dawn will break. You keep putting in the effort, trusting the process, without demanding immediate results you can't control.
And where should we direct that freed up energy?
Yeah.
Socrates had a powerful idea about this, didn't he? About change.
He did. His advice was brilliant. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new.
I love that because it shifts the whole frame. Instead of just saying, stop being X or don't do Y.
Which is often really ineffective, just focusing on the negative.
Right. You focus on actively building the positive alternative. Like instead of stop interrupting people, the focus becomes practice counting to 3 before speaking. You're constructing a new habit.
Exactly. You're channeling your energy into creation, not just opposition. And that creation, that building process, it relies completely on one thing:
Daily practice.
Daily practice, it's maybe the least glamorous part, but it's the engine of all real change according to these thinkers. Dan Gable, the wrestler, had that really blunt rule: if it's important, do it every day. If not, don't do it at all.
Wow, no messing around there.
None. And it connects straight back to Confucius centuries earlier. It doesn't matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop.
Consistency trumps speed. Small steps every day.
They compound. That's how mastery is built, brick by boring brick sometimes.
Okay, so we've got internal awareness, focusing on doing, controlling effort, building the new through daily practice. But what about trying to help others with this? This brings us to maybe the most poignant paradox. The limits of teaching wisdom.
Ah, yes. This one can be tough, especially for parents or mentors.
There's that story about Siddhartha the Buddha, right? Trying so hard to shield his own son from making the same mistakes he did.
Yeah, pouring all his wisdom, all his experience onto his son, trying to save him the pain.
And the son basically asks him, "Did you really go through all your struggles just so I wouldn't have to?" It's a powerful question.
It really is. It points to that hard truth. Some lessons, maybe many lessons, have to be learned through direct experience. You can warn someone the stove is hot.
But they might still need to touch it themselves to really know it.
Exactly. We can't prevent all mistakes for the people we care about, as much as we might want to, but what can we do?
What's the alternative?
We can model the behavior. We can embody the principles ourselves. Coach John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach, had a poem that captures this perfectly.
What did it say?
The gist was, no written word, no spoken plea can teach our youth what they should be, nor all the books on all the shelves. It's what the teachers are themselves.
Wow. So influence comes from who you are and what you do, much more than what you say.
Overwhelmingly so. Whether you're a teacher, parent, leader, friend, people absorb the lessons embedded in your actions far more deeply than your advice. Your life becomes the curriculum.
That puts a lot of responsibility back on our own practice, doesn't it?
It brings it full circle. The inner work isn't just for you. It's the foundation of how you impact others.
So wrapping this all together, this whole deep dive seems to be about skillfully integrating these tensions. The goal isn't to eliminate the paradoxes, but to live within them effectively. One source called it achieving peaceful harmony.
Right. And that harmony isn't a lack of problems or challenges. It's the ability to hold these seeming opposites in a kind of dynamic balance.
Urgency and patience. Effort and acceptance. Looking inward and acting outward.
Exactly. The path we've sort of traced is look inside to wake up, like Jung said. Choose to do rather than just be, following Taleb. Pour your controllable effort in, but accept the uncontrollable outcome.
Use that energy to build the new habits, like Socrates advised.
And do it every single day, no matter how small the step, as Confucius taught.
It's fundamentally a message of hope, I think. The aim isn't some impossible state of perfection. It's about the ongoing practice, the continuous growth.
Yeah, not rewriting human nature. You can't do that. But maybe learning to, as you put it, dance with it more skillfully.
Seeing ourselves clearly, warts and all, and then using that realism to make conscious choices day by day, while staying humble enough to keep learning.
And given that modern tech seems to amplify our nature and we can't just download wisdom into others, the work really has to be personal, internal, and consistent. Which leads us to the final thought for you, the listener.
Okay, leave us with something to chew on.
If human nature gets amplified by technology and you can't just inherit wisdom, you have to earn it. What specific small daily practice can you start today to better understand your own amplified nature before it starts moving you around like a pawn?
Something to definitely think about. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.